Cheers, my darling.
To you.
Mm.
Oh, lovely. Oh, that's better. So, last episode we were with Jezzy.
With the bro.
And we spoke about life as a twin, and actually we touched in there about you going in different directions and him travelling the world and you going into the army. But I kind of want to focus in on this episode to know more about the army. And what I should say is we've never spoken about it, so I have no idea about those days. But yeah, just want to start with there. So why and when you joined the army, we'll start there.
I've never really spoken about the army to anybody, not even to my brother. So it might be a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
It might be a bit tearful. But yeah.
That's okay.
No problem, because I sort of tried to forget it. But
yeah.
Yep.
And any bits you aren't comfortable with sharing, like, we just won't go over it. Yeah.
Lots of my friends that are younger than me now, but maybe 10 or 20 years younger than me, they did a lot more. It's lovely though. We go to Remembrance Sunday every year, and everybody meets up, and probably haven't seen them for a whole year, you know. And then we meet up and have a few beers and maybe a bit of lunch and stuff. But yeah, they've been all over the place. They're a bit like me. They don't talk about it.
No.
Nobody talks about it.
No.
And if you get anybody that sort of spouting off, oh, Bruno, I shot this person, I shot that person, they're probably...
It's not the done thing.
They're probably lying.
Oh. They're
probably lying. Anybody who's actually done that doesn't want to talk about it, you know? So, I don't know what I mentioned it on the previous episode, but yeah, so I was working on a turkey farm. I was pretty useless at school. They honestly said that Jez and I would either be car dealers or in prison, so we weren't...
You were car dealers?
We didn't say. Well, I was a car dealer, yeah. Yeah, so we proved them wrong anyway. So I couldn't see myself making it in anything to kind of make money or have a reasonable career. And it was a Saturday morning, and 1969, 1970, walking up the Butt Centre, the King Mary's, whatever it was, Butt in Reading, which was a shopping centre. And I was walking up the road, and I saw a Army Careers office on the left-hand side. So I went in and joined the army. Basically there and then, joined the army.
God, so you would have been what, 17?
Just 17, yeah, 16, 17. I left school at 16. And I was working on a turkey farm, and not very long, about a week, I think. And I was supposed to look after the turkeys, and a helicopter went over, and all these turkeys before Christmas all strangled themselves in the wire, you know, the fencing on the outside. It wasn't my fault. I couldn't do anything about it. But anyway, so that was the end of my first job, basically. So the army called. So.
And do you think part of that is because of your dad and his?
Yeah. I was very proud of him, and I wanted to be. I felt if I joined the army, they would kind of mould me into somebody like him, basically.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make him proud, which is a bit silly, I suppose. But
no, it's not at all. We all feel like that.
Yeah, and he was, you know, in my eyes, he was fantastic. Not in everybody's, but in my eyes, he was great. So yeah, that's what I felt was a good journey to take, basically. Yeah.
And what did joining the army entail? Like, what's the training look like for that? How do you?
So, I was sent to, I think it was Brock Barracks, but it was in Exeter, definitely in Exeter, but it was the big barracks there. I think it's called Brock Barracks. And so the training was
hard.
It's very hard. So 27 of us went in, because this is for Northern Ireland. This was all training for Northern Ireland, because that was all kicking off then, Bloody Sunday, and all that hadn't happened at that stage, but it was about to happen. So it was quite intense. So the basic training was 27 of us went in, and 7 of us made it.
God.
So basically what happens there, they call it a carder. So the ones that didn't make it would then go in again, and not start again, but start like week 5 or something like that and carry on. Sorry, that's a bit technical, but yeah, so then the likelihood is they could probably pass in the next carder. But yeah, and it was, oh goodness gracious, things are coming back to me. So it was tough. It
Yeah.
was tough. I mean, going from Civvy Street, shall we say, and you know, you had to do a 72-mile advanced contact with a 52-pound pack on your back, which is a sack of potatoes. No real sleep. I mean, if you were able to sleep, you were lucky. And then the idea is that you get to the 72 miles, and then you have to do battle. You know.
And that's just the training. That's not the actual battle.
That's just the training. And I can remember one time it was freezing cold. It was on Dartmoor, and we were against somebody else. It was like a competition. They were our enemy, basically. Anyway, I got captured, and I can remember it was snowing, blizzard. It would never happen now, by the way. I just want to point out this does not happen. Don't let your children do this. And I was put in a cage outside. So basically, it was a fence compound, probably about 3 or 4 meters by 3 or 4 meters, tied to a chair, and naked. And I was interrogated and told I had to tell them about where the tanks were. I didn't know where the tanks were. I had no idea. Anyway, they interrogated me, and they put mole grips on my nipples. And they were the mole grips were about that. It's like a spanner, basically. And anyway, the idea was to make me crack, but I didn't know anything anyway. So that I can remember that. It's only just come to me. It's horrendous.
And again, that's just the training.
That was just the training, yeah.
And what were you training for? So what?
I was infantry, but they called cannon fodder, basically. And it was for Northern Ireland, basically. So from there, I was shipped out to Berlin, to Spandau, and the barracks in Spandau. So I did all my Northern Ireland training with the German police and the German army.
Wow.
Yeah, which is it was very exciting, because they're not like our lot here. They don't mess. They have water cannons with purple dye in, and they spray all the riotous students in those days with purple dye, and then they go around the next day. Anybody with purple dye, they whack them over the head and stick them in prison. You know, it wouldn't happen nowadays.
No.
But well, it might do in Germany.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then because I was in Spandau, there's a prison in Spandau, and the last remaining German World War II prisoner, basically, was a guy called Rudolf Hess. Pretty nasty bloke he was, but he was on death's door. But he was in this prison, and we had to guard him. And a lot of things just come back to me. So there was towers all around the outside of the prison, basically, and they had perspex glass in there because it was really cold. And the idea you'd be guarding the prisoner, which was Rudolf Hess. The older people here would remember him, but he was quite a nasty guy in the Second World War.
Oh wow!
But we used to have a bit of a laugh, and any new regiments coming on, and we used to have catapults and fire them at the perspex, and it sounded like a bomb going off at night. So they would start shooting at things, but that was fun.
Oh my God! Well, at least there were some lighter days. I think, obviously, being so young, like, what do you think you learned about yourself?
It was incredible. I mean, okay, I was 4 years, I suppose, in total by the time I came out, maybe a bit longer, but it did teach you to cope with anything, really. Anything that hit you, you looked at the way to sort it out and do it. But the army was, you worked in teams, and the whole idea was that the team had to get through, not just you. You know, you were no good you coming through after a 72-mile advanced contact, and you're the only person that's going to go to battle because all the rest have fallen asleep somewhere. You know, so everybody carries everybody and makes sure. We had a section of 9 people, which were in our section, and you became pals, you know.
Yeah, teamwork.
And then we were shipped to Northern Ireland. I think we went into Antrim Airport. We were shot at pretty soon after that. But anyway, so we were provincial battalion in a place called Ballykinler.
Yeah.
Which is the mountains of Mourne. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. So anywhere there was trouble, the helicopters would come in and pick us up, or we'd drive there in Land Rovers and APCs, armoured personnel carriers and so on. And stay there for whatever length of time it was, and then somebody would take over from us, like a permanent company or battalion.
Yeah.
So Ballykinler was lovely, well up to a certain point. I think my most prominent thing that sticks out is the smell of burning flesh.
Oh God.
It's awful. Yeah, it's still there now. So Ballykinler had a
drink, big sip.
it's good to talk about it. We had a Sandy Soldiers Home, which was basically like a big place where we could go just outside the camp. So it was outside the camp, and there wasn't really any guards or anything like that to protect us. And it had kind of food, pool tables and stuff like that. So it was a recreation area, but it's called Sandy Soldiers Home. Anyway, one day I'd come out of there and I was back in the Ballykinler camp. It was a massive explosion.
Oh God.
300-pound bomb. Massive. I mean, like massive. They don't weigh a bomb the same as a sack of potatoes. It's a different weight, but they call it a 3,000-pound bomb. And it just wrecked it. The place burnt down. Killed 2 and 33, I think, were badly injured.
Are they your mates? They were your...
Yeah, lost 13 in total over the 4 years. But I can't name him now, but there was one of my mates that was playing pool. And he was about to play a shot, so his pool cue was there. And the blast from the bomb shot the pool cue basically through him and out the other side. And that's the only reason he lived.
Oh, wow.
That was the only reason he lived, because he took the shock and he was literally lying there. And he still had the pool cue in his hand.
Oh my God.
So the choppers came in, picked up all the injured. Unfortunately, 2 didn't make it. And they were taken off to, I can't remember the hospital, south of Belfast somewhere. Yeah, so that was an interesting start, really.
I was going to say
it wasn't the start, it was about midway through, really. But yeah.
Surely at those points, how do you not walk away? Because I suppose
you've been trained to do a job. That's what all that training was, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do. And any army person will tell you that's been into active service.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
You just get on with it.
Yeah, and I suppose you've got to fight back.
You're so young. You're so young. That's the thing. If I was 40 years old, I might have gone, stick it, I'm off. But you don't. You know? And then it's all your guys around you. You know, okay, we lost a few. Bless them. But, and we did have fun. We did have fun.
Yeah.
Lots of things I can't talk about.
No, but, absolutely. And I suppose it teaches you a bit, like that young as well, it teaches you responsibility, doesn't it? A little bit.
And it shows you what the world can do, you know?
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, 100%.
In a heartbeat. We had some good fun.
Yeah.
We had some good fun. Ballykinler was fantastic. But we shared the camp with 3 para, and they're nutters. They're completely mad. Most of them are ex-prison. They're fantastic guys. Don't get me wrong. Sorry, anybody that's 3 para. But they were brilliant people. We worked with them a lot, but they are a different breed to normal people. They kind of, oh yeah, look, I've been shot here. Look, they've seen a hole here, and they were brilliant. And every Saturday night there was always a massive fight in the naffy between us and them.
Oh, really?
It was great. It was a bit like rugby, and everybody just cuddled up and everything.
And
you're
fine the next day.
Yeah.
Gosh. And then I suppose obviously that's a horrible moment that you just spoke about. So that's one of the scary. But anything that involved you that was scary, that you were in, you know, that you thought maybe you weren't going to come back from in those moments.
Well, Ballykinler was close.
You mean you've got a scar, haven't you, somewhere from?
Yeah, that was a little coming together with a bomb, but nothing too horrendous. It's like 21 stitches in my leg. But I was in the wrong place. That was in Northern Ireland, a place called Downpatrick, and which was a nice place, but it was really kind of cowboy country. There was lots of explosions. Normally mines outside where there was troops coming in and so on. I remember one when we had the UDR, which is the Ulster Defence Regiment. Then we had the police and us, basically, in Downpatrick. And a bit of a firing storm started up one night down at a church graveyard down the road. And so I was a radio op. So I had an A17 on my back. And so we were all called out. And so the police, UDR, and the army and the IRA, I presume, or the terrorist organisation, was all firing at them and so on. So we went down there, and we're all firing. Everybody's firing away. There's like bang, 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 going crazy. And suddenly it occurred to my captain, who was ex-SAS, was SAS, sorry, and he said, "Barclay, tell him to hold fire." So I contacted the police and the UDR. I said, "Hold fire." And they all held fire, and the terrorists were all gone. We were all just shooting at nothing or at each other, which it was really quite funny, actually.
Just shooting into the air. Oh,
well,
God.
Yeah, probably not in the air, but
yeah.
But it was a bit of fun, yeah. And I can remember another one. God dear, Auchnacoil, down on the border, and the same SAS captain. We went out on a night patrol, and the idea is that the VCP vehicle checkpoint. So you go out. I can't believe I'm saying this. And you basically go out and you hide in an area where the hedgerow, and then you jump out and stop cars basically and check to see if they've got explosives or terrorists in and so on. So we're hidden. We'd been walking miles and didn't know where we were. We were on the border, and we were all hidden in the hedge, and there was this quite a large, kind of like a truck or something coming down the road and bits of other pieces. We jumped out, and anyway, we decided we were actually in the wrong side of the border. We were in Southern Ireland, and it was a Southern Ireland army.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and they stopped, pointing guns at us, and we were pointing guns at them. And so we said, "Oh, hang on a minute." We were all cammed up and everything. So anyway, so they carted us off. So okay, but we shouldn't have been in Southern Ireland, and they carted us off, and we stayed in a prison, basically, in a police station for the night for our own safety. And then they brought us back, and Auchnacoil has got if I remember right, it's cross with the north, I can't remember now, but there's a bit of no man's land between the south and the north. And they took us there, we took our berries off and everything, and they took us there, and our weapons and radios and everything were in the boot of these cars. They're like taxis, they took us in, plainclothes things. And I think it must have been Crossmaglen. There's a machine gun post that points down basically at no man's land, and the idea is if they need to fire at you, they'll fire at you basically. Anybody in the middle that shouldn't be there basically. So anyway, these cars pull up in the middle, and we all get out, no berries on, camouflage stuff and everything. So luckily, I got my radio out and realised what was going to happen, and contacted them and said, "Hold fire, don't do anything, hold fire." I mean, obviously call signs and everything and codes and stuff. So they didn't shoot us, but
sounds like you had so many close calls.
Oh God, that's nothing. I mean, there was loads.
Yeah.
Loads. Funny enough, there was stuff going on at home between my stepdad and my brother. I didn't know too much about it, but I was about to go on leave, and then the Longcash prison is like where all the terrorists are basically put in. It's got a hospital in there with injured people and so on, but it's basically a terrorist site. And they caught fire to the hospital, and there was people in their own hospital, and they were all starting to riot. They were ready to leave. They thought they were going to get out. So the choppers arrived in Ballykinler. They were in Pumas, I think, and they picked us up, and I think 5,000 troops went. Was it 5,000? I might be wrong, the number, but lots and lots of troops were there, and they were all around the outside of the hospital holding me. My job was tear gas. So I was in the chopper, and the idea was there were big canisters of tear gas, and it would fly over the rioters like that, and then it would bank like that. And when it banked, I would be pulling tear gas canisters open and basically kicking them out on top of the rioters, so slow them down a bit. But my gas mask didn't fit very much, so I was like in absolute tears and everything like that.
No.
But that was the Longcash riots.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I had a couple of incidents that I was in that I can't talk about, but they Dungannon I probably can. There was a massive bomb, 800 pounds, something like that. It was absolutely massive. And the postman, they held his wife and children and told him to drive this van, which was packed full of explosives, into Dungannon. And there was a warning, which was good, so nobody was hurt. So that's like lots of kind of buildings damaged and so on. But our ops caravan went over, and I wasn't hurt or anything like that. But they sent me off to Cyprus for rest and recuperation. then the plane broke down. I don't know how, but it did, but nothing to do with me. But then we flew into Malta, so I was a couple of days in Malta, which I fell in love with. Lovely, lovely place. Yeah, and that was it really. I can't really think of too much else. Marrakesh was horrendous.
Yeah.
All their roll-ups, all their bags were all kind of packed and everything. They really did think they were going to get out. It was not good. But, yeah.
No. So I suppose, what point did you leave? When and why did you leave?
So I joined because I really didn't know what to do, and I was at turkeys wasn't my way of making money. I think.
Funnily enough.
So so I didn't want to do any more really. I mean, I did. I joined up for 3, and I probably did 5 in the end. I took some Land Rovers.
Years.
Years. Took some Land Rovers down to Cyprus, overland, and so that was a bit of fun. And then I decided to come out. So we went, from Northern Ireland, we went to Southend on sea, and.
So was there like a moment where you went, I'm not doing this anymore, or like what?
Although I loved the army, and it did shape me for the rest of my life, and still now, if there's I would like to think that if there was an emergency, I'd be able to cope with it. And they did teach me. I mean, they gave me 50p a week to be able to parachute, so I can jump out of a plane and stuff.
50p a week.
And danger money. I got 50p a week for being able to parachute, and 50p a week for danger money in Northern Ireland.
Gosh,
but,
wow.
Yeah.
So I suppose we'll close on what lessons from your army days stick with you now.
The army take you as a normal civilian, and they break you. In those days, they completely break you. You don't know what. I tried to buy myself out, and my stepfather also didn't obviously spoke to it, and he reckoned he was ex-army, but I don't think he was.
So he stopped you from getting out early?
The word is that he spoke to the company commander and said, no, he's going to make a good army person, so keep him in, which was fine. In the end, it worked for me, but the training was horrendous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the things they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then they make you somebody that can cope with anything.
Yeah.
Anything. I mean, all my army friends are the same. I mean, the London bombings, the underground bombings. I was in London and just got into Paddington. I don't know why, but the platform was really, really busy, and I decided to catch a train the other way, one stop, Warren Street, I think it was, and then catch the next train that way. That way, there was nobody at Warren Street because everybody's coming off normal trains onto the platform, and it blew up. The train blew up. And
I think part of that's
came
like your
into
army instinct. Like your army instinct, almost like this is.
Well, it was interesting because I worked for London Underground at the time, and so we were evacuated out of Marylebone, I think it was. Yeah, Marylebone. We were evacuated out of Marylebone. As soon as I got out of Marylebone, Jez rang me and said, from France, and said, I've just heard something on French news that there's been an explosion on the Underground. And I said, yeah. So I contacted the control centre in London Underground and said, what's going on? He said, there's been a massive power outage, they said, somewhere between Edgware Road and King's Cross. So I thought, wow, that's all right. And then obviously talking to Jez, and then I saw a lot of people injured coming out, and I said, right, I'm off here. So I went to Regent's Park and found a little cafe. It was quite early in the morning. It wasn't open. Found a little cafe there, and I said, right, I'm going to sit here out of the way. And then the other explosions went, and then
the bus.
Then I was on. I rang Windy. No, Windy was working in Windsor, and Baz was working on the east side. Both ex-armies, and they rang me, and they said, "Are you okay?" I said to Windy, "I'm okay. I'm fine," but he said, "Well, I'm at Windsor. I can come and get you if you want me to." And Baz said the same thing from the east side of London. Anyway, I was okay, so I said, I'm going to walk to the first hire car company I can find and hire a car and go home. So on my walk from Regent's Park, then the bus bomb went off.
God.
And then, so I managed to get to Enterprise car hire just outside Paddington. And I said, I need to hire a car. Desperately. They said, every car's gone. Every car's gone.
Everyone's got the same idea.
And everybody had the same idea. Yeah. Didn't want to go on a train. And I said, I'll take anything. This is the one with the broken windscreen. And I said, that'll do me. Thank you very much. And that was it. And I left and came home. But that's what the army teaches you. But you don't, you just do it. Automatically do it because it's just being bred into you. You know?
Instinct almost kicks in.
I'm waffling on. So.
No, you're not. It's so interesting. I love it. That's I didn't even think about London, but of course you were there. Yeah, so that's quite triggering in itself to be there after.
And when the Twin Towers went up, I was working in Cambridge, and that was still one of the most frightening, worse than the army, one of the most frightening things, seeing that plane going in.
Horrific.
And we were working days in Cambridge and nights in London, so we'd have to drive to London and then work the night in London, bit of sleep, and go back to Cambridge and work in the day. And we cancelled, and we said, no, I can't do that, because everybody was scared.
Yeah. That's it.
Stiff.
Yeah, and I think, or maybe that's what it teaches you. You have that instinct from your army days, but maybe it makes you lucky. I don't know, because you've been very lucky through your life. We'll talk about that in later episodes as well.
Am I being lucky? Absolutely. I mean, lots of things in the army I can't talk about, but
no.
yeah. I mean, like, wow, man.
You got some good luck from somewhere.
And then losing 13 guys, you know. I remember the 13th guy, funny enough, had been out with us for a long, long time. And was going back to, I think it was Liverpool or somewhere like that, and where his parents were. Again, they were only 16, so by 17 they would have been. And then he got run over by a truck just around the corner from his house. Can you imagine that, surviving all that
army? And then
that was so sad.
It's so unfair. It's not fair. Well, I am very glad that you're one of the lucky ones. Very sad that you've been through it all, but very glad that you're very lucky one. So I think we should cheers to you being lucky.
Cheers, my darling.
And thank you for talking about it.
Lots of love.
It's not easy.
Yeah, I know.
I hope I haven't set you.
No, you haven't at all. But it's great to talk about it. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'll never understand, but I'll always listen. Love you lots. Yeah.